I must say this. One of the reasons why you have to do it, Pastor, is because you'll get to the place where you have extended your hand to everyone else and you missed yourself.
Yep.
And one of the things that you don't ever want to do, you don't ever want to feel like you have extended your hand to everyone else, but you forgot about you.
Yes.
And that's true. But my question to you then, Bishop, is how, and excuse me for letting you all in my council session, but how do I do that when that's all we have been prepped to do? All that they've taught us in ministry is how to serve people. And so now that I'm caught in the cycle, how do I sit back and extend my hand to myself? Because that is the most unnatural thing in the world for me. Just being honest with you. Wow. That's one of the most unnatural things in the world. I'm not talking to y'all.
Pastor, I know Bishop. Let me interject. Let me interject.
Well, let me have a Bishop first.
Go ahead.
Well, you know, I think that you're right. I think that that's an honest statement because I've been dealing with that for quite some time. But I just released that out of my mind. I released it out of my spirit because I realized that you cannot be a help to anyone else until you help yourself. And if you don't go somewhere and replenish, and that's what Paul said. Paul, when he was talking about being a castaway, I really believe that that's what he's talking about. That after I have preached to others and after I have taught others, I myself got to go away, replenish, lest I become a castaway. And I think that that's what's really going on within the body of Christ now. Most preachers and most pastors are now, you hear so much stuff in the air and in the atmosphere with preachers, but most preachers are caught up in a lot of negativity is because they don't have time for themselves. And they don't have time to deal with themselves. They're dealing with everything else, and then at the heat of the moment, they're running out, and they find themselves caught up in things that they know is wrong, and they know that they shouldn't be doing, but because they don't take time for themselves and steal away and hear a word from the Lord, you know, away from the people. And because, again, I think that the job of the enemy is to fight us against what we really believe and what we really preach, and to make us a laughingstock against what we really believe. And so there are times when you're going to have to pull yourself away, pull yourself from your inner crowd. I'm even learning this, and I hope I don't hurt no one that's here that's a part of my inner circle. But what I'm finding out, too, that there are times when you have to pull away from your inner circle. You got to pull away from your inner circle so that you can really be a help to them as well.
Right. Well, you know, that's an excellent principle. You got to give yourself permission to do it, Pastor Donnie. But also, I love what you just said, Bishop, because that principle, it started with Jesus. Because when you find Jesus takes his inner circle with him to pray, then he goes away from them, a stone's throw away, and he begins to say to God, listen, this is your beloved Son. Father, I would that this cup would pass from me. However, not my will, but thy will be done. See, everybody can't be around you at certain levels of your life. Certain things you have to steal away and do by yourself. And Pastor Donnie, I feel you. We all grew up, myself, you, Bishop, we all grew up in that thing where, you know, everything was ministry. And, you know, we never pulled away. You know, you wasn't being successful if you wasn't doing this, that, and the other. And everything was about ministry. But now as we've matured and we've seen our forefathers who have died literally early
because
they didn't understand the principle of retirement and succession and things of that nature.
I need to go back to the Jesus piece. Do you remember when Jesus, again, when he walks away and he prays away from his disciples, but when he gets back to the disciples, his disciples will sleep.
That's right.
And so it's very important to understand that there are people that are around you that really cannot help you when it really comes down to a secret place that's within yourself.
Say it.
Wow. The only person that can help you in that area is you and God. And seriously, and you got to be very careful with that, you know, that you do not, you know, again, extend your hand to the point where you don't extend your hand to yourself. And I heard you also say this, because I just want to make this very clear, that just because we're not ministering to people, that does not mean it's not ministry. Because I really believe that real ministry is when you can minister to yourself.
It's the Donnie McClurkin Show.